You old farts don't know what you got coming to you. Young pups, I think they know everything.
On this episode, it's old school versus new school.
Just about beating the kids.
There's an age gap in the garage as two teams try to outmuscle each other on a Mustang build.
They could have theirs totally prepped and we'll still beat them.
I mean, we had to rebuild the whole damn car here and we did it overnight.
If we don't brake, it'll go like stink.
There's bad brakes. And bad blood as these guys fight for bragging rights.
2 cars, 2 teams, and 3 days. 2 groups of gearheads try to outgun each other in the garage, turning average autos into amazing rides. It all happens under the expert eye of champion rally car driver Andrew Comrie Picard. It's a battle to the finish line on Floor of the Wheels.
The Ford Mustang, an icon of American sports cars. While its body style has changed many times over the last 4 decades, one thing has remained the same about the original pony car: its potential for big horsepower. We've got 2 identical Mustangs from the late 80s for our 2 teams to transform. But first, let's see what the judges have to say.
Our first judge is Pat Ryan, a paint and body expert and manager for the Fix Auto franchise.
Well, guys, we've got the black Mustang here, and it's a little bit rough. We've got some damage here on the fender, some rust bubbles on the hatch. You can tell that this car's had a full 17-year life. It's a little rough.
Andrew Miller is a mechanical whiz and master fabricator with Mean Green Performance Products.
Well, mechanically it's pretty much stock, a little bit of exhaust work on it, that's about it. Solid, they're not going to have any problems with keeping suspension in it or anything like that. I think they just need to go to it and get some power under the hood.
Attila Callow is an award-winning custom car audio and interior specialist.
It looks like it's got a long way to go before it's at show quality.
Pretty stock so far. Big engine, lots of horsepower, real fast.
These guys are kind of lucky. This body is fairly rust-free. No body damage.
Bodywork, maybe not. Interior, we've got ripped up seats, puke red interior. Say we take them out back and shoot them both.
With that kind assessment from our judges, it's time to let our teams see the cars they'll have to work with. The Velocity Vets have never worked together as a team, but with nearly 100 years of combined experience, these 4 guys definitely know their way around a garage.
Brian, what do you think?
Don't hear anything terminal.
Sounds good. It runs.
First up for the Velocity Vets team is Brian Stokes, an airline pilot and the owner of Boss Racing. When not flying high, Brian is at his auto shop rebuilding Mustangs for maximum performance.
We've got a lot of experience on our team. I think that the experience will eventually show up as a winner in the long run.
The Young Guns are 4 gearheads in their 20s and 30s. They've come from different backgrounds to build a car together for the first time.
Dave, what do you think of the inside?
It's all gotta go.
First up on the Young Guns team is Dave Sino, a student and car audio design expert. He'll tackle the interior.
I love the car. Great American V8 muscle.
Okay, teams, you've seen your cars. Now for the rules. You've only got 3 days and $12,000 to spend on them. Come Judgment Day, they've got to be ready to go. Then we'll judge them out of 60 points. 20 for the mechanical work, 20 for the body work, and 20 for the interior and audio. After that, we'll go to the drag strip, and whichever team posts the best quarter-mile time gets a bonus 10 points, which could be the difference between victory and defeat in this one.
Right on it.
So, veterans, you gonna school these kids?
Absolutely. They're the only team here that are working on a car that's older than they are.
All right, young guys. These guys are going to teach you anything?
Not a chance. We're going to school them old school style, just like they are.
Yeah, okay.
You can't even see over the dash without your booster seat.
All right, guys, let's get to work.
It's day 1 of the competition. Both teams are planning their strategy and starting to dismantle their Mustangs.
How far are we going on disassembly of the motor?
We'll tear it right down to the short block. We'll take the heads off it. We'll get those on the bench, do some porting, and that'll give us a bit of an edge over the other guys.
The Velocity Vets are working on a car that has much more mileage on it, so they're planning a complete engine rebuild.
Well, now that we're taking apart the Mustang, we're finding that it has a lot of rough areas. It's actually rougher than it looks on the outside.
Phil Griffin is a mechanical engineer and custom audio installer for AutoWorks.
Even though it's all just to go out there and have some fun, everybody wants to win.
We got another injury.
I heard something smash up there. Your hand on there?
My finger broke the impact.
Oh, good. So I was going to have to replace another part.
The body basically needed a lot of tender love and care. The whole thing needed to be redone.
Kevin Clark has been building and racing cars for 20 years. Veteran mechanic and bodyman Kevin owns and operates Clark's Automotive.
We do everything there, from body work and the mechanical to whatever, so I can pretty much do whatever's needed within the team.
I've been building cars for a long time, and just they tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
John Woolley is a custom metal fabricator and experienced backyard mechanic. At 50, he's the oldest member of the team.
It was rough when it came in, but that's what a challenge is all about.
The Young Guns have a less ambitious plan for their engine, but are going to completely change the color of their interior.
Everything's getting sprayed. We're going to do the interior black with some accents to match the exterior color, which we have yet to decide.
Shayad Gobadpour is a parts and service rep for the automotive group. He's been collecting and rebuilding cars since he was 15.
Anything and everything about a Mustang I could pretty much tell you.
All right, Gord, what do you think of the engine?
Looks good. Looks really good. It's nice and clean under there. I think with us having a cleaner car and stuff, we got a bit of an advantage on them that way, I think, overall, so hopefully it works out.
Gord Fish is a senior certified Ford technician and the senior member of the Young Guns team.
Kind of been tinkering with that stuff since I was a kid.
Body's mint. I mean, there's very little body work to be done on the car. Mechanically, everything's fairly sound. We'll get into the engine and get the engine and tranny out all in one shot.
Gary Gray is only 21, but already a licensed mechanic and engine rebuild and performance specialist.
So far, every car I've had it blown up from doing something silly too.
What else can we do to this thing to make it a little quicker?
I don't know, cheap power maybe, nitrous.
How big of a shot do you guys want to run?
We're stock motor. We can push it, 200, 250, 3. See how much she'll take, I guess.
That's a good idea.
Good start.
You guys up for that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, lots of nitrous.
The nitrous oxide system effectively blasts more oxygen into an engine, giving an extra burst of horsepower. But add too much and you might blow up your engine.
Well, another thing that would help us is put a little shot of nitrous on that thing. If we don't brake, it'll go like stink.
Where's my fuel line disconnect for? You didn't get it back? Never like Hey, shut up, Grandpa.
Take it. Call us when you're ready to pull the motor out. We'll give you a hand so you guys don't overexert yourselves. I usually wind up taking charge of a situation and try to make it go as efficiently and smoothly as possible. I'm thinking maybe a two-tone paint scheme.
Two-tone paint scheme? Yeah, that's going to take some time.
Even though I haven't been doing it for as long as many others out there, I know more than most out there when it comes to Mustangs.
I think the experience for this team is going to count for a lot.
Yeah, they've definitely got some more experience on us. I'm sure they know some shortcuts, especially being a few of them are Mustang guys.
This is the big part, getting the engine out of it. We're gonna get that clutch off and take the flywheel off, get it machined up.
What are you still doing with your motor in?
What's that?
What are you still doing with the motor in?
We're taking a look at it. You guys how to do it. Yeah.
You stole my rocker, didn't you? My walker? I got a walker with Pirellis on it around here somewhere.
I think it's gonna be a really close finish on who's gonna win.
The Velocity Vets engine is finally out, but what's more important is what the teams do with their engines now.
So far, we've got a little bit of a lead on them, but we started early. That's their excuse.
I'm fairly competitive, so for me to come down here and put the number of hours that we're putting into this car, you know, we're going to do it to win.
The main concern is to make the car as fast as as fast as possible and make sure we beat these other guys.
Coming up, Young Guns try to teach some old dogs new tricks.
No more wiring, no more clips?
Both teams are deep into their Mustangs, and each team is confident that they can outbuild their rivals. The Young Guns have the engine out, the manifold off, and the new rocker covers on. But the Velocity Vets have their engine out and the differential already taken apart.
Each team needs something from the other, so the teams negotiate a deal.
Wow. We need some parts.
Oh yeah, what do you need?
We ain't got no parts.
Something to do with the diff.
Some clutch packs?
And maybe a puller too.
And a puller? And some other tools?
Yeah.
What do we get in return for all those nice shiny parts that we thought to bring and you guys didn't?
The other team has a part that they don't need and we need it, so we might do a little switcheroo.
Probably some 16-inch ponies.
Some pony rims?
Yeah.
All right. I think we might be able to work that deal out. We traded a set of 5-star pony rims for a set of clutch pack rebuild kits and some gear tools. And we'll take some more groveling later when you bring the rims over. I think we came out ahead on that one, but I think that's the experience showing and showing up prepared with the right stuff.
Well, that worked out pretty good.
You guys just got a set of pony wheels for a clutch pack and a tool.
Yeah.
And you want me to sweep the floor?
Yeah. The laws of supply and demand. We have the supply, they have the demand.
I see how it is. All right, I'll remember that.
Young pups. I think they know everything.
Come on, hurry it up. We got the greasy motor there, kid. Not that bad.
The other get everything going, get some degreaser in here and degrease the door jambs, engine bay, so we can prep and paint the car. It's kind of stolen our power washer. Now we just got a part.
The other team keeps Shiad waiting for the pressure washer. When John finally turns it over, he also turns off the hot water.
It took him about 2.5 hours to clean their car.
Shiad is completely unaware that he's been hosed.
They had less work to do than us on their car. I thought that was just a good way to catch up.
Takes a little extra TLC, a little extra time to get everything done, but I think it'll help us with earn some points with the judges.
To prepare for the track, both teams are doing partial rebuilds on their Mustang V8 engines.
Our motor's got a lot more miles on it, almost 100,000 kilometers more on our motor. Every seal on the motor was leaking, so we got our work cut out for us for sure. The little tricks that we're doing that are they're going to set us apart, I think, is we're going further into the car with the motor.
We're leaning on Brian a lot to try to bring this project together because this is a specialty car.
I've been working on these things since I was about 15 years old, so I probably got about a good 15 to 20 years, well, 15 years anyways of experience working on racing on these cars.
These were a good car. They were a good bang for the buck. We couldn't go wrong for the money you spent on them back then. Tons of power.
What's going on with this muck of crap?
We're gonna port the heads, young lad.
The Velocity vets are going deeper into their engine rebuild, while the young guns have opted for a more superficial overhaul. But both teams are adding a shot of nitrous oxide for extra horsepower.
No, we're making horsepower the good old-fashioned way by cheating with lots of NOS.
We're gonna put some nitrous on this thing, try to get it to go as fast as we can down the track. We're gonna take our chances on the stock motor and see if it holds up on it.
So Brian, what are you doing here?
I'm just doing a quick port match and polish on the cylinder heads here. Try to open up the intake ports to match our bigger intake.
It's a V8, so you can, if you put nitrous on it, you can have some fun and make it quite squirrely going down the track, especially at the quarter mile.
And how do you feel in that the other team isn't doing this and you are?
I think that's their loss and our gain.
So what are you doing here, man?
We're just setting up the nitrous solenoid set, and I'm getting all the lines figured out so that we can get this nitrous kit hooked up.
How much power do you think that's going to give you?
That'll get us probably close to 150 to the wheels.
150 extra horsepower?
Yeah, extra. On top of the, hopefully, 250.
And now you're doing this aftermarket intake, and they're not. How much do you think that's worth for you?
Hopefully around 20 horse.
You old farts don't know what you got coming to you.
So far, the junior gearheads are pleased with their progress.
I'm very confident we can get it done in time. Within a matter of hours, we have the car torn apart.
What I'm using here is a vinyl dye. It's not a paint, it's a dye, so it soaks right into the vinyl, so it doesn't flake off.
Everything's working so good so far. The team's sticking together and we're getting through it pretty quickly.
Ow! Wow. Ooh, that's a third-degree cut.
Everyone is out to prove something, and it's not long before the two teams clash.
I'm very vocal, always say what's on my mind.
The war of words begins.
The old guys definitely have a lot of mouth, and hopefully we'll show them up.
Our teams are on a tight budget, only 12 grand to build the car for drag racing. So now's their chance to gain an advantage. It's time to put down the tools and fight for an extra part. Okay, gearheads, what we have here is a brake line lock. It'll allow you to lock up your front brakes, do a better burnout of the drag strip to heat up your tires for a better time. But we only have one of them, so we're gonna have a little challenge that I call Creeper Crawler.
Oh yeah, all right. Ooh. That's nice.
Each team member will ride a creeper out and back through the cones, hand the creeper off to the next team member. First team to have all 4 members finish the race wins the prize. All right, teams, ready for the creeper crawler? Ready, set, go.
Both teams are off to a fast start.
Watch the cones.
Despite using different sliding styles, the vets and young guns are neck and neck. The creeper handoff is crucial, and no one is giving an inch. In the home stretch, John and Gord scramble to bring it home for their teams. But a last-minute burst from the vet's oldest team member delivers victory.
The prize goes to Age and Treachery. Congratulations.
Good job.
No prize for you.
Some of the guys are old enough to be some of the other guys' dads, and we really socked it to them on that.
We have 20 years on them that they should be kicking our ass, but we came through in the end, and we're the one with the prize.
Old guy still talking smack, eh? There we go. Wait for the drag strip. Yeah, we'll be doing this again.
Halfway through the first day of the build, the young guns are making progress.
It's been a good day so far. We've got a lot done.
You gotta sand it, bar solid. You gotta prime it.
Dave's doing a really good job on the interior. We kind of give him free rein.
It's really eating up our time. For example, the other team, they're not doing a color change. They're leaving their interior one color, the color it came.
Across the garage, the Velocity vets are also getting the job done, but the clock is ticking.
Pretty pressed for time to pull this off in 3 days, so we're gonna have a pretty late night here tonight and tomorrow, I think.
Well, we're still concerned about the amount of body work we have on the car.
With years of Mustang experience, Brian leads the mechanical work. But because Brian and Kevin both run their own shops, they've had to learn to work together.
Are we having a communication problem here?
So hard to get good help these days.
I know, but I'm getting by.
So we clash every once in a while with our ideas kind of thing. We're both used to being in charge.
On the other team, Cheyat is feeling a little left out of the engine build.
I would have loved to get a little bit more into the engine work and whatnot, because that is my specialty. I would have liked to have gone over everything a little more myself. Not that they're not capable, but it's just, you know, one of those things.
How's the bearing? Is it in decent shape?
Yeah, it's fine. We're all trying to get together and give a little bit without upsetting each other, although there is some tension going on. You know, I want this, no, but I want this.
Coming up, the teams square off in a show and shine challenge for bonus parts for their cars.
We're at the beginning of day 2 and both teams are doing really well. The old guys are going old school and have torn their engine down to nothing and are porting and polishing the cylinder head. The young guys aren't going so far into their engine, but they're putting in a drag suspension and changing their interior color. Both good approaches, both effective at the drag strip.
So there's a lot of prep work and cleaning and degreasing involved before you can even prime it. So if you try to paint over a product like that, it's not going to look good.
We're getting into the body work now and starting to prep for paint. Car's been painted several times, lots of stone chips.
Well, and you're going in pretty deep. How you feeling about your strategy?
There's no way that we could prep a car with as light, like with what they have there now. Theirs is a lot cleaner, doesn't require the work that I did. There's a lot of work on this one for sure. Full of cheese all over the place.
We really work well together as a team, I think, because we each have our own strengths that the other guy doesn't have.
We're all getting along so far, but crunch time isn't here yet, so hard to say. Tempers might flare a little bit.
To improve performance during the time trial, both teams need to reinforce their chassis. But while the young guns bought their part, the Velocity vets chose to make theirs.
Zinc plated and everything. The old farts over there, they decided to build their own.
You see this, you old farts?
Well, it took us all of about an hour to fabricate them last night, and then another half an hour or so to weld them in, and then we saved $150 out of our budget doing that.
Why waste the time? They spent at least an hour or two building theirs, while we spent 160 or 180 bucks or something.
We think it's well worth it. So, you know, those that can do and those that can't, buy them, I guess.
The battle of the builds continues and our teams are looking for any kind of advantage. But we're about to give them another chance. Each team has agreed to bring one hot car in a little side competition we call the Show and Shine Showdown.
Bust. Bust. Bust.
Okay, teams, welcome to the challenge. Young Guns, what'd you bring?
I brought out my 1966 Dodge Charger. It's got a 383 big block, sport and multi-port EFI.
Yeah. Gord restored every aspect of this 66 Charger and returned it to showroom condition.
All right, Velocity Vets, what do you got for that?
Well, we thought we'd bring a Mustang to the Mustang show, and we got ourselves an 01 supercharged Cobra here.
Brian has worked on this immaculate 2001 Mustang Cobra in his shop.
All right, guys, you're playing for this fiberglass cowl hood. It'll save you about 30 pounds and look good doing it.
Nice.
Yeah. Beautiful. So let's see what the judges have to say.
This thing's hot, man. 2001 Mustang, Cobra hood. We've got the rims to match. Check it out. We've got the custom matched interior, the black and gray. We've got the Cobra embroidered in the seat. I'm seeing a bunch of gauges. We've got the tack with the shift light, the air pressure, the oil pressure. We've got the boost gauges. Looks like this thing's ready to roll.
Let me pop the hood and let's take a peek underneath.
Whoa, just what I thought. Supercharger, V8, custom stainless steel piping.
We got some custom trim underneath the hood as well, some nice bling for the underhood chrome package.
I'd like to line the two of them up, see how they go.
You and me both.
Now I see the stock deck in there, but something tells me there's a little more to this than meets the eye.
Let's check out the trunk.
We've got a 10-inch sub, looks like it's custom made into the back end here.
Well, it's well done. I'm very impressed.
Wow, what a difference. We've got a car that's basically 39 years old versus a newer one.
What we got here is a 1966 Dodge Charger. This is classic Mopar muscle. This is where it all started. It's been restored at least once during its lifetime. We've got the nice fastback roofline. We've got the fold-down rear seats. It's practically perfect.
You know, it's kind of funny, both the cars have the same rims.
All these years apart, and they still have the same wheel package.
It's got the Alpine audio system in the glove box.
There's also a controller here on the console. I'm going to show you what this is all about in a moment.
One of my favorite things about this car is the hidden light system on the front grille.
This was one of the original hideaway headlight vehicles. Flips up to reveal the headlamps. Remember that controller I showed you? It controls this aftermarket fuel injection system they've installed. So they've got a intake manifold, a billet fuel rail, and a billet throttle body. This thing should idle and purr like a kitten.
No more pumping the gas pedal to try and get her going, eh?
No, this thing will start first turn of the key, guaranteed.
Well, what we've got here is some new school muscle, topless.
And we've got the old school Mopar, classic.
Hot day like today, top down, chrome spinning. I think I know where I'll be.
All right, teams, the judges have looked at your cars, and the decision was hard to make, but they made one, and the hood goes to the Velocity Vets. All right, guys, let's get back to the garage.
Losing the show and shine may not cost them the entire competition, but the ruling upsets Cheyenne.
I was very disappointed. I will not hide my disappointment. I've made it very clear that I was very upset that we lost. We should have won.
With less than a day and a half to complete their Mustang builds, there's no time to waste. But the cars are still in pieces.
How's the paint coming out?
Good, I'm just trying to touch up a couple more areas we've missed.
There's something missing. That's piece number 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, yeah, well, that's right, it's forward.
Pull the clutch back up.
At least it's not in the car. You gonna put the tranny and the motor in together, one shot? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's simple enough, yeah.
It's the end of day 2, and in different ways, both teams have stalled. The Young Guns are putting their engine back together, got their transmission on and manifolds, but they're still a long way from getting that engine in the car and being able to drive it on the trailer to the paint shop. The Velocity Vets, who ought to know better, stripped the engine right down to the crankshaft and bearings. Now they're having trouble getting it back together. Basically, they're elbow deep in their car, and now they gotta get their arms back out.
That'll all go back together now. Sweet. It'll be late night, but it'll happen.
Trying a shortcut, Cheyenne accidentally puts a crack in his windshield.
Had to use a screwdriver and trim removal tool. And looks like I nicked it with the screwdriver, which caused it to crack.
Now you screwed your windshield.
Yes, because I was told we don't have the tool.
Windshield molding without cracking it.
No, you know what? It's those old guys, man. They're sabotaging us.
Chad, how does it make you feel that you cracked the windshield not reusing the right tool?
If we don't get on the track because of that...
Does my own team have to rub it in?
I can't drive this car down the track. Oh boy, you're getting a whooping.
Yeah, my team's pissed at me.
Meanwhile, the vets feel their vast experience is starting to show up the other guys.
Their motor is going to be down 20 or 30 horsepower. Their car is going to weigh about the same, and I don't think they're going to put on as good a show as this car will. We'll get down the track faster. If we don't break.
But on the other side, Dave is starting to worry.
I'm getting a little stressed out about waiting on certain parts. Can't put my speakers together if I don't have the proper clips and connectors, and it's holding us back, so the pressure is building.
Coming up, the Young Guns can't agree on a color scheme for their Mustang.
And whether he likes it or not, I don't care.
It's day 3, the last and longest day of the build. Both teams are pushing hard to get their Mustangs ready for paint.
Your side goes in, up. Be careful, don't go too high up, because then you're gonna get urethane everywhere.
Oh, we stayed late. Got most of the bodywork knocked off because we want to get this thing out to the body shop today, with the next couple hours actually.
Body alignment stuff is all good. All the body is good except for the Bondo he's doing now. A little bit of touch up on the top of the passenger door for some sanding.
Last night, what did we get? 4 or 5 hours sleep, maybe?
It's hotter than hell in here.
With both teams going into paint in a few hours, the Young Guns can't seem to agree on their color scheme.
What we're gonna do, we're gonna push for our two-tone paint scheme. To hell with it.
Once again, Shiad is a source of tension for his teammates.
We don't have time to do a two-tone. That's like painting the car twice, right? We can't do that.
It's easier to throw some vinyl on there than it is a second layer of paint.
We're going to go with one solid color and a stripe.
We'll stick to the original plan and hopefully it'll work out.
It's not going to be as flashy as we want it to be.
In the end, Shiad is overruled.
And whether he likes it or not, I don't care.
Well, we've done quite a bit to it. We've actually torn the cylinder heads off it, done some porting that we were doing over the last couple of days to it. We've changed the intake manifold, the upper and lower intake manifold, to an aftermarket piece.
I wouldn't say that we're exactly on schedule, but we had a really good day yesterday and the car moved along a good distance.
Well, when you gotta, rub a fender and put a light bulb in, you're done. I mean, we had to rebuild the whole damn car here and we did it overnight, so I'm not worried about it.
We're still waiting on a few little pieces that we gotta pick up today still and get in, so we'll probably be pushing it to the body shop.
The cars have to be trailered to the paint shop, and the Young Guns are the first to leave the garage.
Bring it in.
All right.
Oh, God.
Yeah. My old guys. Give me some speed. Build it up. Come on.
With their engines still out of the car, horsepower is replaced by human power.
All right. Time for the body shop.
Ah! Dukes hazard.
Back in the garage, the Velocity vets are trying to play catch-up with their younger competition.
Sure, a lot easier to push without a motor in it.
And we'll get that done a little later on today. We're still quicker than they are anyway.
They put the motor in it so they could push it to the body shop and then push it home again.
Apparently.
Not so smart, those boys.
No.
I say work smarter, not harder.
That's it. That's where the age comes in, the experience.
I think so.
The old guys might have more experience, but it's still an effort to get their car to the paint shop.
Easy, easy. Watch door. Watch door.
After battling with Shiad over their car color, the Young Guns Mustang is going in for a single color makeover. Meanwhile, the Velocity vets are just beginning their paint prep.
I think we're way ahead.
The race is on as the Young Guns are first out of the paint bay with their primer done.
They use some kind of primer that's more elastic than the regular spray cans. So it filled in all the little holes that I was having trouble with. So it's going to look a lot better than what it was going to look like. We're one solid